What's up, you guys? Welcome back to our weekly live feed. I am actually logging on YouTube, but also on my new Stage Ready by Sean Instagram. Since we are now into the new qualifying series for the Olympia, I figured this was a good time to start switching over to my secondary IG. With that, if you're logging on Instagram, your best bet is to go over to my YouTube channel because you're going to see screen shares on YouTube. We are going to wrap up this past weekend shows and we're going to preview this coming weekend show. We are in the new qualifying series now for the next year's Olympia. So we are going to go into that. The last qualifications were given out this past weekend. So we're going to talk about those ladies that got those and go from here. Now, I always give it a few minutes for you guys to get logged on, get settled in, and get the notifications and all that kind of fun stuff. So while we're doing that, I've got QR code up here on the screen for Backstage Pass. So for those of you that were on the webinar last night, several of you joined our membership site, which is Backstage Pass. It is a fully encompassing membership platform for your posing, presentation, and training. It is open for enrollment every 90 days. So we are open for the next 5 days right now. Thank you, my glasses. So if you are interested in becoming a member, it's unlimited posing plus lots of other things. So if you scan that QR code right there, that's going to take you to that page. It is Backstage Pass, BSP.com. rockbsp.com. There we go. So you can get signed up there. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is our YouTube channel sponsors. Number one being Liquid Sun Rayz. Liquid Sun Rayz has been my sponsor for years. I've used nothing but Liquid Sun Rayz since I started competing. And they are on my daily list right now for skin prep because I am a week and a half out from my next show. So if you guys need skin prep, tanning, need to book your tan for your show, whatever it may be, this QR code right there, go ahead and scan that. Use code Cuties15. That'll get you a discount on all of your tanning needs. And then our last YouTube sponsor is Prozis. So Prozis is our supplement sponsor. If you need any kind of your supplements, protein, any kind of fun foods, activewear, home gym equipment, all of that, Prozis has got it right there. So that's your discount code for Prozis. It is Cuties10, and scan that QR code there for me as well. Yes, as you guys are logging on, tell me where you're from. And again, I'm up on Instagram on my new one, Stage Ready by Sean, right now. But as we're waiting for everybody to get logged on here, say hello, tell me where you're coming in from. Go ahead and type into the comments. Join the fun. I always want these to be interactive. So please, please, please ask questions, comment as we go along. The lives are always like a couple of seconds behind, meaning like when you get a comment in, I'll get it probably a minute or so after you've actually typed it in. So I'll go back and talk about it if we're still on that topic. If we've gone past it, we've gone past it. So, but comment anyway, because I will address questions and all that as we go along. And what I'm going to do for those of you that are on Instagram is I'm going to log off of Instagram because that will keep my engagement up if I do that. And then we'll get started on YouTube. So head on over to YouTube. There we go. And we're going to share that. All right. And I've actually never shared on this Instagram before, so it's going to take me a second. So hang on. Let's go. There we go. Done. Okay, so I just shared my first live on our new Instagram. Right there. Right there. Okie doke, guys. So we got Wisconsin, we got Florida, we got Niagara Falls, we've got Utah, we've got Washington. Where else? Where else is everybody coming in from? There we go. I made sure when it posted, it did. Fantastic. All right, Chicago. All right, so as I was saying at the beginning of this, we are now into, I'll turn this down just a little bit. I feel like I'm looking at my forehead. There we go. We're now turning into the new year. So new qualification system or series this year. This past weekend qualified all of our ladies for the 2024 Olympia, with one exception. One exception. Okay, we got Minneapolis, Texas. Awesome. So I'm going to pull up this real quick before we get into this too far. Hang on one second. There's one exception to this rule, you guys, this year. So I want y'all to pay attention to this. Here it is. Fitness. Fitness is our one exception to this rule as far as qualifications are concerned. They are qualifying whoever wins this particular show in fitness for this year's Olympia. Why is that important, you ask? Why is that important? Because we have Andrea competing. Andrea is one of our Pro Performer Promise winners, and she is going to be competing this weekend in fitness. So she could still potentially qualify for this year's Olympia. Yeah, crazy, right? So give her a big good luck, because it ain't over till it's over, you guys. It ain't over till it's over. So she's got a good shot at winning this. She placed second, I think, 3 times this year. So yeah, or twice, second twice this year. So yeah, give her some big cutie love and some good luck. And look at my water, because I'm gonna need my water. There we go. Good luck this weekend, because this could potentially still qualify for her for this year's Olympia. All right. So with that, we're going to talk about the last handful of ladies that actually qualified for this year. We got a few new ones and one repeat. So let me pull up. We're going to start with San Antonio. There we go. Make sure I have the right window up. Here we go. So San Antonio was a big show, right? I think what happened here is everybody knew that Ariana was doing Battle of the Bodies. So they said, we're going to go to San Antonio and give ourselves a shot here. So it ended up being a very, very big show, 32 athletes or something like that, as you can see here. And Ashley Hampton did walk away with the Olympic qualification. So congratulations to her. She has placed second a couple times. You know, she's been in that top 5 every time she's on stage. So, you know, she definitely deserved it. I could have made an argument for her at other shows and things like that too. So we're going to go through the top 5 here and talk about what they're doing and what they are doing right, what they're doing wrong. So 5th place was Alessia. So you're gonna see we have a handful of ladies this year who are perennial Olympians that did not make the cut this year, and Alessia is one of them. Alessia has been to the Olympia several times, I think 3 or 4 times, something like that, and she did not qualify this year. So I'm looking for a good front pose here. This year's Alessia was not her best self, right? Even in this show, there's just something off. Like I've mentioned this through her other shows this past year. She almost looks like she's got too much muscle now for bikini. I feel like she needs to kind of move up to figure. And when I'm looking at her here, her front pose is just really off to me. This doesn't look like how she used to look. I feel like she's trying to reshape the muscle that she put on, and I don't feel like it's working very well. There's just something off about this. Her shoulders don't look big enough. Her waistline is very distended. It looks like they tried to bring her in softer, because she does have a tendency to come in too hard. Looks like they tried to bring her in softer, and I don't think that worked very well. In doing so, it made her look pretty blocky. And just like I said, her waistline's kind of blown out here. This front pose just isn't doing it for me. Not sure exactly what her plans are or what she's been doing. And I don't know what her feedback was either. So we'll see what happens. But all of this year, she's been in the bottom of the first call out. So she's got to do something different. Whether it's just taking some time off to reshape her frame or whatever it might be, she's got to do something different because it's just not working. Back pose. So, from the back, it's not a bad back pose, to be honest. Not a bad back pose. I feel like she's not fully posed here, or maybe they're telling her not to tilt more because, again, she may be too hard. Maybe she's got too hard of hamstrings if she tilts too much. You can tell she's softer than what she typically is. I mean, that's a plus. I know that's something that's hindered her in the past. She comes in too hard. But I think she's trying to bring down her muscularity by posing and softening up. And I don't think that that's working. I think at this point, she needs to just commit to putting more size on and go to figure. I mean, that's what I would do. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure she's thinking about things from her perspective. I don't think, again, she doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. So I do want to make that clear. But for her, I feel like she's trying to fit into the criteria and it's just not working. I feel like the comment here, I mean, the competition has gotten very, very difficult. And I think where she could have gotten a pass in the past, she doesn't anymore. Her shape has never been fantastic. She tends to do pretty well because of her back shot. But she's always just a little bit too hard. She would win shows in Europe, and then do decent here in the States. European girls have stepped up their game, so I don't know. She's got to rethink her game plan at this point. She's got to rethink her strategy at this point. I don't know what that means for her exactly, but she's got to rethink it. So we'll see what happens. Again, she placed top 5, so it's not like she was terrible by any stretch of this imagination. But for a girl who's been to the Olympia for the last 4 or 5 years or something, that's not great. She wasn't able to qualify this year. So Deanna was in 4th. I think it's just a matter of time for her. Let me find a good front shot. I don't know what her feedback was. I'm looking for a front shot. I don't see one, so that could be part of the problem. I think she's not fully posed in any of these pictures in her front shots. So I guess we can pull this one. I think some of it for her is posing. Just based on what she's been posting on Instagram, I think her feedback was in her posing. She looks like she's bending forward a little bit here. I think she mentioned in one of her Instagram posts that she was going to show more glutes in her front pose. I do think she's coming a little too straight on here and she's bending forward a touch. I don't want to judge it too hard because I don't think that this is fully posed. I think she's kind of in the middle. But I stand by what I said from the last show is that she just needs to fill out a little bit more, specifically her upper body. Her upper body needs to fill out. We need some more roundness in that shoulder there. Her waistline is insane. So again, I think it's just a matter of time for her and just fine tuning and tweaking things until she can really show her shape and her frame off to the best of its ability, because I just don't think she's quite hitting it yet. Once she does, she's going to be incredibly dangerous because she has ridiculous lines and she has ridiculous genetics and everything. And I just, it's just a matter of her finding that balance. She mentioned she needed to pop her glutes more. I think her popping her glutes more in her IG post, I think she was talking about her front pose, I think. I could be wrong on that. I can't remember exactly what she said in the IG post, or IG post. But when I look at this back pose, it just looks a little bit not finished, and again, this may be her in between. Let me click through a couple of these. But really, I mean, as I'm going through each of these pictures, it's like she's not fully posed almost. And it could just be when they snap the shot. But to me, like, her knees look like they're bent in a little bit. It's almost like she needs to pop the knees out a little bit. And and tilt the lower back a little bit more. She probably didn't tilt the lower back here to show too hard of hamstrings. Again, going back to, she needs to fill out. I think she's just a little bit too hard in general. Like, she needs to just fill her whole frame out. And I think that's muscle, but I think that's food. I think that's just getting that fullness. I said the same thing from the week before. I think she just needs to fill out a little bit. So, you know, I mean, again, if she can do that, she's one where her waistline is so tiny. If she can fill her frame out, she's going to be really, really, really good. Really, really good. She just needs to fill her frame out. Lacey, here in third, which we had her on our radar. So in this pose, I would push the glutes back a little bit more. She does look a bit fuller than she was the last show, meaning like she's filled out her shoulders a bit. This whole overall look is a little bit better, I think, than what she had in the last show that we looked at. So I think she's on the right track. I still think I'd like to see more shoulders on her than what she has right now. But I do think this is better than what she had previously. I think she's on the right track for sure with that. I think she just needs to pop that front pose a little bit more. And again, fill out the shoulders a little bit. Back pose. Back pose looks really good here. She's so tiny in her waistline from the back. This conditioning looks really good. I think she just needs more size. I think she just needs more size in her glutes, more size in her shoulders, just needs to fill the frame out a little bit more. I think her conditioning is very good here. I think she's fuller. I think she's rounder. I just think she needs some more size in general. She just needs to fill herself out. She's a little bit on the taller side, so she just needs to be a little bit bigger than what she is. I would also open up this back pose a little bit, her upper back. Her delts are popping pretty well here, but I still would like to see her just open up just a touch more here. I think she's pinching off a little bit too much. Lauren was in second. Now Lauren has been creeping up the ranks all year. To me, this isn't the best look that I've seen from her. Not a fan of the no lips. Like, we need some color on the lips. Get some color on that face. It's very blah. So make sure you got your makeup popping a little bit. Her waistline looks a little thick here to me. I don't remember saying that this year yet. I don't think this is her best look. She needs to push back and tilt back more with that lower back to get that glute to pop, because otherwise she looks upper body dominant. But even here, it doesn't look like she filled out her shoulders as much, which in previous shows I've said her shoulders were overpowering. I don't think her shoulders are overpowering here. I just think she's kind of underposing a little bit. Looks like maybe they tried to soften her up a little bit and it kind of blew her waistline out a little bit, or maybe it's just the way they adjusted her posing. I'm not really sure. But there's, again, just something a little bit off about this pose for me this time. I think that Nashville was probably her best look. I don't know. This could be just based on the pictures that I'm seeing here, but I'm not, there's just something off here. She needs to like tilt the lower back or something to get the glutes to pop a little bit more. And get some color on your lips. Get some color on your lips. Nude is not a good thing on stage. So yeah, let's take a look at her back shot. Yeah, when I look at her back shot, I feel like what they did is they tried to soften her up a little bit, because I do think this looks good. I do think her glutes look better here than what I've seen, because she's really etched in her adductors there. She's really etched in that tie-in. So I think that they tried to soften her up here. And I also feel like she's not tilting as much here as she typically does. So that would make sense. They tried to bring down the tie-in a little bit, all of that. She just tried to soften her a touch. which I think does work for the back pose. I think that does work for her for the back. Just there's something about the front pose that's a little off with the pop. Back pose, I think, actually looks better, to be honest, though. And then we have Ashley. So I'm a big fan of Ashley's look. She tends to be a little bit more on the muscular side, but I just think she has a very pretty look overall. Just very like healthy, a girl next door, pretty look, right? I think I like this look a little bit better even than what she did. Was it All South? Was it Clash where she was second next to Jordan? I think I like this look even better. It's very fresh, very clean, very pretty. Waistline's nice and tight. She's not overly conditioned. She's not overly muscular. She does have a tendency to come in a little bit too muscular sometimes. That's not the case here. I think this looks really pretty. I like this front pose on her. And from the back, so to me, this is pretty much spot on. You know, she's got just enough tilt, just enough pop. Glutes and legs and upper body are all really well balanced. She's pinching too, so we're seeing this as kind of a trend with that upper body. With her, I think it kind of works. I think her upper body works like this. I'd still like to see her relax her arms just a little bit, like let them come down on her legs a little bit. If she was to open her back up anymore, I don't know if it would be as balanced. I think this is pretty decent here. But her hamstring tie-ins are great. Like they're not too much. They're there, but they're not overpowering, nothing. I actually think this is a very, very well balanced look for her. I think she did a very good job with this one. You know, sometimes, she can look a little leg heavy sometimes. I don't see that here. I do think that she has a very good balance here. And I think, to me, she was the standout at this show. She was the standout, you know, bottom line. She was the standout at this show. So congratulations to her getting one of those final qualification spots. You know, she's been grinding all year. So good job to her for sure. All right, we are on to, let's go to our European show next, which was the Europa Pro. So this was technically your last qualification right here, because this happened on Sunday. So we're going to talk about that next. We will go through the top 5 here as well. This was a little bit interesting too, as far as how the placings laid out. In 5th, we had Octavia, who is qualified for the Olympia this year already. So it was kind of curious to see her in that 5th place position. I was expecting to see her fighting for the win, and likely in the winner's circle, to be honest with you. But she does tend to carry a little bit more muscle than most girls. This past year when she did the Arnold UK, her look was very, very soft, almost like she just went and decided to eat between prejudging and finals just because she said fuck it or whatever. So what I see here is I just see overly muscled on top and soft on the bottom. She's hard on the top. You can see the vascularity in her shoulders, all of that kind of stuff. Waistline's tight, that's good. But her lower half, you can see she's a little bit soft here, right? So let's take a look at her back shot. I didn't even look at Laura's pictures, to be honest with you. So here, to me, like it's almost like the skin is a little bit creepy. You know, that to me is estrogen, water retention, whatever it might be. Hair's too long, hitting the top of the glutes. But when you look at her from the back, just to me, she doesn't look like she's in shape. I think she made a post, and I hit translate, so I'm sure some things were lost in translation, but essentially the post said that her body just stopped responding. She was doing a lot of cardio and things like that, and her body stopped responding, which, you know, makes sense. And she was just holding a lot of water, which that's what this looks like to me. This just looks like her body's fighting her, is what it looks like right here to me. So kind of surprising because, again, I figured she'd be, in that winner's circle, if not second, that kind of thing. So seeing her in 5th place was a little bit surprising. Then we have Sophia. So did she qualify for the Olympia last year? Yes, she was in the Olympia last year. She did not qualify this year. She only did 2 shows this year, though. Beautiful girl. Let's take a look at her front pose. To me, this front pose is a little off. Again, she looks a little bit top heavy. Waistline looks good, but I just would like to see her push back into this pose just a little bit. She's really standing up tall and kind of leaning back a little. Tan looks splotchy. Even in this photo, you can see the splotchiness of the tan on her legs. You can see splotchiness of her tan up here. So the tan is definitely off. I think she just competed last week, so that could be a product of that. It could be just residual tan that she had left over or something along that line. Back shot. Back shot to me just looks a little flat. She's losing. She doesn't have any. She's got to get this upper outer glute on top to pop a little bit better for her. She's got tiny little waistline from the back. Phenomenal frame here, but she's just not popping. She's a little flat from the back, right? She's just not popping through the back. Upper body looks great. I love this positioning of the upper body. I know some people aren't doing that, but I love this positioning. I think it looks fantastic. I just think she missed the mark on her actual peak here. Again, she looks flat to me. Doesn't look like she has very much of a pump. Doesn't have a lot of oomph to those glutes and things like that. So I think she's just a little off on the peak here. Maybe doing the back-to-back shows didn't help. Who knows? And we have Carrie. So Carrie just went over to the UK from the US. In the US, she wasn't doing great, but it looks like she redeemed herself here. She's very muscular. You can see that in her legs and everything too. That's one thing I would say they probably told her she needs to be careful of getting too much size on her. I see, the quads really popping here. Her glutes look great, but she's just got to be careful of the size. Got to be careful of getting too big here. But the proportions are great. I would say she also needs to have some core control here, really pull that tummy in tight because it looks a little bit distended there. That could be from them trying to fill her out or something like that. But really be paying attention to that core and keeping the core really tight. Front pose looks great though. I would just say, like I said, just be aware of the amount of muscle and the core control there. And then back shot. For here, again, amount of muscle more than anything else. Conditioning looks pretty good here. Tan is a little bit splotchy. Again, she's been doing back-to-back shows, so that could be the reason why. You can see it up in her shoulders up on the top. You can see it on her glutes underneath on the hamstrings. So the tan's just a little off here. But again, I would just be careful of the size, the overall size of her lower body and of her shoulders too. I think she's right at the top. I don't think she can put any more size on. And I'd like to see her just a little bit tighter, just a little bit tighter. She's got some good pop here in the glutes. And the best that we've seen so far, for sure, of the girls that we've pulled up so far. So she did a good job here. Maybe go a little bit wider on the back stance. I think the feet are a little bit too close, so maybe just like an inch wider. I think that might help to balance her a little bit better from top to bottom too. But overall, I do think this is probably her best look I've seen on her this year so far. So we'll see what she decides to do next and I don't know what her feedback was, but those would be my 2 cents. Just be careful of getting too big, too muscular for the division. And then we have, this is Jess. So this is one that I don't think anybody knew. I don't know her. First of all, get a new suit. I don't know what's going on with the suit, you guys. That is not good. So it's very, very distracting to me. But with that said, she's got a really good frame here. She is a little bit tighter on her conditioning. You can see how much tighter her legs look. all of that. So she does need to tilt a little bit more in that lower back, get the glutes to pop up a little bit better. But she's definitely more conditioned here than the other girls that we were just talking about. But good shape here, good overall look, except for the suit. Get rid of the suit. Throw the whole suit away. Throw the whole suit away. And on her back pose, see, this is really interesting to me. I see it's hard for me on this because I don't like her back pose. She's bent over and she's pinching her upper body. I don't like this back pose at all. She's really like tight through the hamstrings. Like this is pretty decent conditioning. Like she's a touch tighter from the back than Carrie was. So I can understand why she would beat Carrie in that regard, but there's just so many other things wrong here that I don't know if I would put her in second. This back pose just needs to be completely reworked. I think she's got a much better frame than what she's showing. Yeah, don't bend over like this, you guys. It's not a good look. And again, even from the back, throw the whole suit away. Throw the whole suit away. She's got a really good frame, so don't get me wrong. She's got a really good frame. I think her conditioning is right on, and I think that's probably why she's in second place. But she just presented it all wrong. Had she presented it correctly, maybe she could have won it. Maybe she could have won it if she had presented it correctly, but definitely not. So that's my 2 cents. Get yourself a new suit, new posing, all of that. And Adriana is going back to the Olympia. So she has not on stage for a while. She's always been super cute. Took a long off season. This is a great look. This is the best I've seen her look. One of the things I've always critiqued her on is she tends to wear like funky suits too. Like she wears white suits and things like that, which just don't do anything for her. This is a much better look right now. Very well balanced, very well conditioned. Her conditioning is right on. This is a great front pose. She's tilting just enough in that lower back. She's balanced from top to bottom. Again, her size is balanced from top to bottom, and her conditioning is balanced from top to bottom. This is a spot on front pose. Let's take a look at her back. Well, it looks like everybody had some tanning issues at this show, because that's the only thing I really see as being an issue here in the back pose. She's got a few splotchiness here. You can see the splotchiness in the tan a little bit. So probably a little bit tighter in the hamstring area, meaning, and not even in her her conditioning here, but her size. I would say she probably needs to put a little bit more size on her glutes and hamstrings here so that they can pop a little bit more. She looks a touch flat to me, but still wins the show, in my opinion, pretty much hands down. She's got a thicker waistline from the back, so that's another reason why I would probably still put some more size on her glutes, because that would help her pop a little bit more here. Just give her some more fullness, some more roundness, that kind of thing. However, like I said, I mean, to me, she clearly wins the show. She clearly wins the show. Is she going to do well at the Olympia? Probably, I don't know, maybe best, maybe third to call out, maybe. But still, she made it back. And I think this is a much improved look over what she's had in the past. So she just needs to keep growing a little bit. In the lower half, I would say. But overall, very, very good. Very, very good in comparison to what she's done in the past. So congratulations to her. Okay, our final show for review and our final qualification went to Battle of the Bodies, which was Ariana as our winner. The shock of the show here was that Romina ended up in 8th. I don't think I have ever seen Romina drop out of the first call out. She was in the first call out, but I hear from prejudging she ended up in the second call out on the outside. She, again, 8th is very, very low for Romina. I don't know what happened. I didn't ask. To me, she just didn't look like she was in shape. I'm not really sure what she was thinking getting on stage in the condition that she was in. I don't know. If anybody has any kind of inside information, have talked to her or anything like that, feel free to chime in. All I know is that was the shock of the show. The fact that Ariana won this was not a shock. And then the rest of the girls in here were kind of unknowns because everybody just kind of assumed it was going to be a showdown between Ariana and Romina. You know what I mean? We just assumed that was going to be your top two, and whoever came in best was going to win this show. So let's take a look at our top five. Fifth was Allie Taylor. Again, not familiar with Allie. Let's find a good front pose. Here we go. And all of these pictures are a little bit light in the coloring. So, well, that's interesting. It went straight to the photo. Never does that. That's weird. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. So a few things here. She looks like she's bending forward. This skin roll right here is a problem. I would probably put that connector down a little bit so it's not pulling down on the skin. Rib cage is really flared right here, so it needs to watch the rib cage flare. I think her conditioning is okay, but I think in general she needs more muscle. We don't have a whole lot of leg here. And to me, it just looks like, again, just looks like she needs more size, some more size in the legs, more size in the shoulders, everything like that. So again, this rib cage flare needs to come down quite a bit, and I would stand up tall in this front pose versus bending forward. I don't know why it just opened up like that. That's weird. Let's find a back shot. She's doing a lot with her posing too. Good, be careful with that, you guys. Okay. She's bending over in her back shot, big time. Flattens her glutes. You can tell she's bending forward quite a bit. Needs to stand up tall. If she stood up tall, that would make this pose 1,000 times better. Because she's bending forward, we're seeing flat glutes. We're seeing no pop in the glutes. We're seeing no pop in the hamstrings. It's washing the lines out, and we're losing her upper back. She's got hair on her shoulders. Got to be careful of that. You know, there's just, again, a lot of things wrong with this pose. She's bending forward. Stand up. Guys, stand up whenever you're posing. That's, 101. Make sure you stand up. Her frame would look a lot better here in this pose if she was standing up. So just simple little tweak right there. Next, we have Hope. This pose needs to be opened up. She's really closed off, blocks her glutes. Hand on the lower ab is covering her belly button. You don't ever want to do that. You need to pull that back. Just needs to open up the whole pose. Tilt the lower back, open up the whole pose. Her conditioning is quite soft. You can see it in the lower abs. Just overall conditioning needs to be better in general, but you can really see it through the lower abs. You can even see the little skin fold as she's pushing her hand into the waistline. So I would say she just needs to improve the conditioning aspect of it too. Back pose. So again, conditioning. The suit doesn't fit her at all. It's very loose. Needs to tilt more on the lower back. Needs to be tighter through the hamstrings. Conditioning, just in general, conditioning and posing. Conditioning and posing. Bottom line. Noelle. So Noelle we did talk about because she has had some top 5 placings. Let's take a look at a front pose here. She is also over the age of 40, I believe. So for her, conditioning looks pretty good here. Her nemesis probably is going to be the waistline, just being a little bit thick here. So it just needs to try to get this glute to pop a little bit more. In general, I think the pose is good. I don't know if I would do a whole lot different other than just try to maybe tilt this a touch more. But I think that's more so just getting this glute to relax and loosen and release so that she can open up right there. But she's doing a good job of showing her frame the way that the best that she can. I think conditioning is pretty good here. Her abs are tight. With the lighting being so light as well, it's hard to really see the conditioning. But I would also say she could probably put some more size on her legs because that would help to balance her upper body with her lower. Yeah, that's about it as far as that is concerned. I wish that the lighting was a little bit darker so we could see detail a little bit better. Back shot. So I think she did a great job with her back pose. Conditioning is right on. Again, we're seeing hamstring tie-ins, but they're not super, super etched in. She's arched, but she's not bending forward. I think she's pretty open with her back here. Maybe try to get a little bit more delt so that we can pop this a little bit better. And I would say continue to work on glute projection, upper outer glute, just continue to do that. But in general, this is a pretty good back pose. Again, if the lighting was a little bit darker, we probably could see a little bit more definition, a little bit more pop, that kind of thing. But we don't see that here just because of the lighting of the photo. So that's not her fault. She's got a little bit of an imbalance in her upper body here. This, you can see it with her lat, her scapula poking and things like that. So I'd work on mobility, try to open that up so that you're even from side to side. But yeah, that's what I would, as far as the back pose, that's what I would work on. Okay, Katarina. So I actually remember her from Nashville Fit Show. That's not her full front pose. And I believe she was in fourth call out in Nashville Fit Show. So this is a great front pose, to be honest with you. She's got a really good shape and really good frame. Her waistline's super flat and tight. Not a fan of her suit. I don't like that ombre look. It looks very, lack of a better word, looks pretty cheap on stage. So get rid of the ombre look. When you go from like that clear crystal into the darker color, I'm not a fan of that. But in general, I like this pose. In general, I like the way she's posed here. Needs to relax the shoulder a little bit. And as we go through this, let's go through a couple of her poses. There we go. It relaxes. She gets relaxed into it. There we go. Okay, now that she's settled into the pose, that's much better. So she relaxed the pose. She settled into it. Waistline's tight. This is very good balance from top to bottom. This is what I was talking about with the legs needing more size. The other girls, she's got great size to her legs, right? Really, really good size here. Yeah, overall, this is a very, very good frame. You know, very, very good frame. I would work on, again, just kind of different suit more than anything else here. A different suit. I think her pose is fine. I think she just needs a different suit. And then from the back, just needs to work on this pose. She's bent too much and elbows are out too much. If she had her upper body the way it was, standing up tall and then just relaxing, this would be 1,000 times better. Her conditioning is right where it needs to be. We don't see a whole lot of hamstring here, and I don't know if that's just genetic or if it's just the way she's posing or what it is. But if she was to stand up a little taller, I think we would see her frame a whole lot better than what we're seeing here. Yeah, so this is where I think she kind of lost it as far as, you know, against Ariana. I think she actually has a better frame than what she's showing. I think she has a better look than what she's showing here. So she just needs to stand up. But I mean, great job. She's got a lot of potential. Like if we look at the in-between shots, I mean, she looks better here where she's not arching as much. She's got more projection and everything on her glutes where she's not arching as much. So I would just rework that pose and get a new suit. Did I say get a new suit? Get a new suit. And then our winner was Ariana, which most of us saw coming. We thought once we saw Romina's condition, we pretty much knew that was going to be the case here. I still don't think this is Ariana's best. To me, she still looks a little bit flat, and she could be a little bit tighter, but this is much, much better than what she put on stage earlier this year. Her waistline is tight. Where I see that she could be a little bit tighter is I see the little skin folds in her lower back. So I think she could be a little bit tighter, whether she was flat or whether she just needs to pull down a little bit more body fat or whatever that may be. That's where I think she can make the improvement between now and the Olympia. You know, again, when she's on stage, she's a stunning girl on stage. So you can't not look at her. In order for her to be up in those top spots again at the Olympia, I think she just needs to make sure she gets that conditioning perfect. That's the only thing that she's really missing right now, and she's come a long, long way. She's looking pretty good here. This was a good like warm up for her for the Olympia. Hopefully, she got some good feedback here. She didn't need the qualification. She was already qualified. And I would say probably work on this back pose a little bit. Let's see if we're fully posed here. Yeah. She's tilting a little bit. You know, you see that? She's tilting. So work on the balance here. I mean, she's got incredible glutes. Her conditioning is right on, but because she's tilting a little bit, we see a little bit of an imbalance in these hamstrings here. So just working on the mobility of this back pose, I think would be beneficial for her. And also, like I said, she needs to come in just a touch tighter or a touch fuller, something like that to make this all pop just a little bit more. This was enough for this show. She didn't need to do anything more for this show. But when we're talking about getting her up into the top 10 at the Olympia, she's got to be spot on. And if she is spot on, she could be very, very dangerous at the Olympia. She could be very, very dangerous at the Olympia because she's got a really great look. Her hair's a little messy too. Of course, this is Florida. This is what happens in Florida, you know, so I'd probably brush this out and just get that a little bit cleaner. Just looks a little bit frizzy. But again, humidity of Florida, we know what that does to hair. So I think that's what we're seeing here more than anything else. So in general, I think this is much better look than what she's been doing recently. So, you know, very good, but she just needs to take it to the next level in order to do well and get back into the top 10 again this year at the Olympia, which I think is completely doable for her. Completely doable. Okay, so that is our our last Olympia qualifications. Now we're going to go briefly into this weekend's show. We have one, which is a big one. Big show. So there's some good names on this list too. Whoever wins this show will be qualified for next year's Olympia. We've got a couple of Olympia people on here already we've just talked about. So we're going to go through the list real quick, and I'm just going to show you the people that I want you to pay attention to. So Wu Bai, she's one to be paying attention to for sure. She qualified this year. As you can see, she took first here. So she is qualified. Not great photos, but she's one to be paying attention to for sure going into this show. I'm sorry, this was last year. No, she's not qualified this year. She didn't compete this year. That's right. This was last year. Okay, my bad. She's not qualified for this year's Olympia because she did not compete. So this is her first time out since this last year. All right. Still pay attention to her regardless. Maybe she made some big improvements. Next we have Jordan. So you all know I love Jordan. We just came out with a new Behind the Bikini today, by the way. If you guys haven't watched it, it is live, so you can go watch that. She is on her way out there now to compete, and I believe she's most people's favorite right now. She has been off stage since the Olympia, so she's had almost a full year to make some improvements here. So she's definitely one to be paying attention to for sure. We have Brittany Gillespie, who is qualified for this year's Olympia. She's won one show. She didn't do great at Pittsburgh. I mean, not bad. She was seventh, but she wasn't, in that top four or anything like that. But that's okay. She's been off stage since May. So she's looking pretty good from what I'm seeing on Instagram, but who knows what we got on Instagram versus real life, right? So she's definitely one to be paying attention to as well. Zoe, she did not place in San Antonio, which I thought was a little odd. I did look at her photos from San Antonio, and I felt like she should have been a little bit higher than she was as far as her placing was concerned. She did place fifth at the Florida Pro the week before. Maybe, the judges saw something different than I did, but definitely be paying attention to her as well. She is a top 5 contender. We have Lacey, who we just talked about. We just talked about Lacey placing third here in San Antonio, so she's definitely one to pay attention to as well. And then we have Sierra. So Sierra Swan, she's another one that did not qualify this year for this year's Olympia. Her best placing this year was second, Nevada State Pro and Optimal Plastics. She placed second in both of those. So she missed her qualification this year. So expect her to come out guns blazing here and try to get an early qualification for next year. Outside of that, is there anybody else on this list that you guys have seen that I did not pull up? I think that this is going to come down to probably, I think Jordan in that first place position. I'm just going to say it. I mean, you guys know I'm biased anyway, but it is what it is. Deanna, I forgot to say Deanna. Deanna Dang's in this one as well. We just talked about her. Did I miss anybody that we just talked about? I don't think so. Yeah, I definitely have Jordan for the win here. 100%. I think we have to look out for Wu Bai. I think we have to look out for Brittany. And probably, I mean, and Sierra. So I would say if I'm looking at a top list, we're looking at Jordan, Brittany, Wu Bai, Deanna, and Sierra. Those are my top. I have Jordan winning. What do you guys think? Who do you got winning this? Speak now. Put your 2 cents in. Let me know who you think. Type it into the comments for me. Call it from this year, from China. Okay. We have not been paying much attention to the Asian shows. Let me see if I can pull her up if she's available on NPC News. Hang on. Let me see if she's here. There we go. Yeah, I haven't looked at her at all. Oh, that's why. There's only 4 competitors. That's not her, though. That's not the same. Oh, hold on. Did I hit the wrong one? She's not qualified. Unless there's a show that she won that she's not on here. She placed 3rd out of 4. So yeah, unless there's something I'm missing here, she's not qualified. Who you guys got? Anybody else want to put their 2 cents in? She won in 2023. Oh, this year's qualification system, but she was in October. Okay. Unless she's made some big improvements. I don't really see her doing much here. Unless she's made some, I mean, that's a long year. It's possible that she's made some big improvements. It's definitely possible. So I'm not saying it couldn't happen. We don't have a back shot of her, though. Yeah, for some reason, there's no back shot. So well, we don't have a whole lot to go on with her. But I don't know. No back shots. I don't know why there's no back shots. That's weird. Maybe they just didn't want to send back shots over from China or something. I don't know. Nothing. Kind of hard to judge someone when you don't see a back shot. So yeah, but to me it doesn't look like she has enough muscle here. So all right, well that'll do it, guys. So we are officially on to the new year of Olympia qualifications. And that's it. I don't know. I don't got nothing else. I'm proud of myself for being able to stay on this long because I'm tired. I'm going into my peak week in a few days. So with that, you guys, Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on all of our stuff. Like I said, we did put out a Behind the Bikini today. So if you haven't watched that, watch that. Jordan talks about her peak week stuff. Going into Sasquatch. I will be going into peak week next week. So I will definitely do a live feed next week. I just don't know when yet. Probably not Wednesday because I'm going to be flying out Thursday morning. So with that, you guys, I hope you guys have a great night. I'm going to let y'all go, and we will see you